Hi everyone, George here, and welcome to this first of 3 vlogs all about a special aquascaping event we held at Tropica in Denmark. Tropica invited a group of full-time aquascapers to set up a total of 11 aquascapes in preparation for Interzoo 2020, and also to celebrate the 50 years since Tropica was founded. These vlogs will give you an exclusive behind-the-scenes insight into the aquascaping processes involved. You can also look forward to update videos every 2 weeks from the time of filming until Interzoo in May 2020. So make sure you're subscribed and enable notifications to your smartphone so you don't miss a thing. Let's jump over to Denmark. Hi Jurijs.
Hi George.
So Jurijs is Tropica's social media manager and also full-time aquascaper. We'll tell people what you're doing.
Yeah, basically I have one of the most difficult tasks to build this sort of, I call it a twister hardscape because the wood is kind of around this core and it's going to be fully planted with epiphytes, moss, bucephalandras, Anubias, ferns, all kind of this nice stuff. And
tell people why we've got this kind of frame here.
Yeah, so that's the tank that George hasn't mentioned before. You're not going to see the tank until Interzoo, I guess. So this is like a 3D dojo. So we built it right now with those plastic pipes to have the size of the tank, to have like the bone structure of it.
Is this the actual height, or is it going to be taller?
The inside. The inside
is
the
actual height.
Yeah. What is its size?
I can't remember.
I think
we'll overlay the dimensions on the screen right now for you. But how many? So what we're using here? Redmore root.
Redmore, yes.
So lots of pieces to choose from, and then I guess the idea is they're going to be attached around this central pillar. And then is this going to be actually used for filtration, or is this literally just to hold the wood?
I think as of right now it will just hold the wood.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's of course going to be acrylic, transparent,
Yeah.
and camouflage. They're not going to see the zip ties. It's just temporary for now.
Yeah.
And
it's going to be exciting. It's going to be what we call the showpiece.
Showpiece, yeah.
Because it's going to be actually positioned higher up on the stand, I think.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
I think it's
So
going to be on eye level.
Yeah. And then we're going to use like really strong spotlights from Kessel to illuminate it. And then I think we're going to grow all the plants on the wood, actually in the moss tent.
Yeah,
I think that's the idea, isn't
that's
it?
the idea, exactly.
Yeah. So some of you may have seen footage from the moss tent already. We'll get some of that later. So the idea is the plants are going to kind of attach themselves over the next 3 months or so, look mature, and then we'll have a really nice display for Interzoo.
Hopefully it's going to be plug and play.
Yeah. And then you're doing another tank here, aren't you? Should we go and have a look at that right now?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the special Cuba tank. If you watch the sneak preview video that's already on the Tropica channel, you can see all about this. And it's going to just have 3 species of plants, all found by Holger Windelov in Cuba. So
exactly.
can you remember what they are? Yeah,
they're Hemianthus, callitrichoides, Cuba. They are Ludwigia, inclinata, Cuba.
Yeah.
And Persipinaca palustris, Cuba.
Yes.
So a couple of tongue breakers here.
Yeah. And can you give the people a bit of an insight into the style of aquascape you're going to do?
Mainly freestyle, I guess. I mean, the focus is on the plant in this one. The idea is to have some sort of homage on, like on the plants. So it will be a little bit Dutch, but I will use just a little hardscape inside, so we clearly see the plants. And because the tank is having this dry chamber in that rear corner, and also this tank is going to be situated in a lounge kind of area, like kind of low. So yeah, almost looking from top down.
Okay.
So I think this is going to be my main viewing direction when escaping it viewed from above.
Okay, great. Let's go and have a quick chat with Adrie. Adrie is a full-time aquascaper from Germany, and you've helped out Tropica a few times on aquascapes for Interzoo in the past.
Right.
And you've probably got, I would say, the most challenging job of aquascaping 5 tanks. And is the idea to have one kind of theme with the hardscape?
To do 5 in a row.
Wow. What hardscape are you using?
Black lava or lava and some red wood.
Okay. And have we got enough for you?
So enough stones, yeah. Wood.
I will see.
Yeah, maybe
we'll
we
go
go shopping to the forest.
Perfect. And we have a kind of short list of plants that you're allowed to use from each decade tank.
Yeah.
Have you come up with your final selection yet?
Not really.
Okay.
So
Plenty of
maybe
time.
tomorrow morning.
Maybe tomorrow morning. Okay, but you have a kind of idea in your
Yes,
mind?
I have.
Yeah.
I already have. Yeah.
So this is an interesting point. So beginners, I always kind of suggest they kind of plan with drawings and things like this, but when you're so experienced like yourself, you can just...
I'm so bad in doing drawings, so
Yeah, I
everything
am
is
as
in my
well.
mind.
I'm really bad. You have in your mind the kind of idea
Yes, I have.
you're going to
yeah.
go for,
So I will start the hardscape in the third tank, so from the middle,
and
and
work
then
your way.
to both sides.
Ah, perfect. And in terms of, I'm really curious to how you're going to choose the plant species. Are you going to kind of go for a Dutch style layout with like groups or nature style?
No, nature style.
Nature style.
Yeah.
Interesting. And you're going to be using the Tropica plant substrate underneath
Yes, I will do.
gravel?
Yeah, so I won't use the soil, I won't substrate in gravel.
Yeah, that's a good idea, because in 1970 they didn't have this Tropica soil.
That's right, that's right.
Perfect. Okay, thanks. I'm really excited to see what you come up with.
Yeah, me too.
And Adrie is well on the way with scaping his, what we like to call, the decade tanks. So starting from 1980, 90, 2000, 2010 and 2020. And Adrie's just installed the substrate. Do you want to tell people what the substrate system is?
So it's the classical substrate and not soil, and then a top layer of some nice gravel, and yeah, afterwards now I will do the hardscape, some lava stones and some roots, and yeah.
Cool. And what sort of, how deep a layer are you going with the substrate? Is it 1 centimetre?
Yeah, 1 centimeter.
Yeah. And then it's topped off with like an inert sort of fine gravel?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Cool. Looks really nice. And the stones are going to...
Stones are here. So stones are...
So these, you probably have enough to make a nice irigumi, I reckon.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to see. Okay, I look forward to seeing the progress. Thank you.
Okay, thank you too.
So here we have Jurijs and Radu. Jurijs is having some challenges. Do you want to tell people about your challenges?
Yeah, so what we did now, this is like the first draft, like a mock-up. We have a paper tube in the middle. So we did this just to showcase how it's kind of going to look like, the structure. Now we discuss where it is going to be divided, because we have to divide it so it can go underwater for it to be pre-grown, and then it will be put together at Interzoo. And to do it now, to kind of transfer everything to the permanent mounting solution, Radu is using a thin acrylic tube. This is going to be mounted to the bottom plate that we have here, like a little mini pellet. And then a thicker acrylic tubes are going to slide on top. They're going to be pre-cut to the length that we need. And this is like the inner core that keeps those two outer tubes in place. And this is where all the drift is going to be attached to. And there is just some cosmetic decisions to be made afterwards, like, okay, which branches to cut off and how to mount them. Are we going to use the zip ties? Are we going to glue everything? I have had the crazy idea yesterday to use cork bark actually to camouflage the entire acrylic. That would also cover up the zip ties so we can keep them, because I like using zip ties. They just work, they keep things in place. Strong, yes, and if you put cork bark on top, you don't see them. On the wood you can cover with plants, super easy, but on the acrylic you would see them. So that's why I want to use acrylic bark. So this is like really, I don't know.
Lots to do.
Lots to do. It's almost like Indonesian style, like with gluing all the driftwood, cutting down and doing small pieces.
I'm sure it'll be worth all the effort, mate.
I hope so.
Keep going, doing really well.
Thanks.
Okay, so Adrie has really stepped up and has completed his hardscape layout. So if I just stand back from this angle, you can kind of see what the effect he's gone for. So we have a much taller rock composition in the centre, and that's leading down to some smaller rock compositions on the left and right. And I'm guessing the overall aim is to create one cohesive irigumi. Can you just talk us through the hardscape material? What is it we're using here?
You are using black lava rock.
Okay.
So, and my first thought about this was to use also some wood, but now I decided to do a straight irigumi.
Yeah, I really like it. It's really nice stone. You don't often see lava rock with much character, but this is really nice. And it's not quite black, is it? It's like a
It's
grey.
a dark one,
Yeah,
not
and
really black. That's right.
and it's very dense. I guess it will get darker with
Yeah.
water. And I guess the next stage is picking the plants and deciding on a plant design.
Yeah, right. So
And do you just do that in your head, or do you draw it, make a sketch?
I do it in my head.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I can't.
Yeah,
draw.
I can't draw. That's why I aquascape and video, because I can't draw.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks Adrie, great job mate.
Thank you.
So here we are again with Adrie's tanks, and we've actually got all the species that Adrie's going to plant in each decade tank. So starting off with the 1970 to 1980 tank, we have Helianthus quadricostatus and Marsilea hirsuta. So moving over to the 1980 to 1990 tank, we've got Taxophyllum barbari or Java moss and Glossostigma elatinoides or Glosso, made famous by Takashi Amano. And you might already kind of recognise that Adrie is going for mainly carpeting plants here, so it's going to be a very strong Iwagumi layout. So moving over to the next decade, this is like the central tank, and that's why we're using much taller stones. Is that right, Adrie?
Sorry?
We're using much taller stones in here because this
Yes,
is at the centre.
yes, but these are not old tanks, so they are also missing the potted plants. So it only the tissue cultures.
Ah, okay, so we're going to have potted plants as well
Yes,
in
as
here.
well, so
Okay, cool. So we'll look at those in a minute. So in here we've got Marsilea crenata. This is like a smaller variety of the hirsuta, similar kind of growth rate, but a much smaller leaf. And then we have Hygrophila pinnatifida. This can actually be used as an epiphyte plant or a regular stem plant planted into the substrate. And we've got Christmas moss and Staurogine repens. And then in the final decade we have Eleocharis mini, Rotala H-Ra, Areocaulum cinerum, Microsorum Monte Carlo, Hygrophila araguayi, and Melixa japonica. So we'll do another clip in a minute with the potted plants, and then Adrie can start the planting process. Very exciting. Okay, now we've got the pots in the 1970 to 1980 tank. So we've got Eleocharis acicularis, Cryptocoryne parva, one of the smallest crypts. Got the regular Java fern there, the Microsorum pteropus, Anubias nana, and then Vallisneria in the back right there. Adrie is progressing very well with his decade tanks. Let's have a look at these. He's filled up 2 and planted 2 already. So the 1970 to 1980 tank here, we talked about this earlier. Now the water's cleared and it's looking really, really nice. Can't wait to see this one grow in. And then we have the 1980 to 1990 tank. This is all filled in with plants. This is obviously going to grow in really nicely over the next 3 months. What moss is this, Adrie?
It's Barbiri.
Oh, it's a regular Java
Yes.
moss. Perfect. And then in the background we have some Echinodorus,
Yeah, Barty.
Barty, and then is that a Hygrophila in the back left?
Yeah, sorry.
53B.
Yes, right. Sorry.
My favourite. Love this plant.
Yeah, it is.
And then Liliopsis brasiliensis
Yes, right.
and Glossostigma.
Right.
This is going to be interesting to maintain.
Yeah.
That's my job. Perfect. You're looking really good, mate. And you're now planting the central tank. So this is the main kind of the one with the biggest stones. So what we've got, is that Hemianthus, Cuba?
Yes, right.
And Echinodorus. Is this Aquatica? Is it? And then what have we got in here?
The crenata.
Crenata. Marsilea crenata. And then you still to do the decade tank. Okay, great. Looking good, mate. Well done.
Thanks.
And then we have, let's go over to the liquid naturescape, the 3 metre long panoramic.